Hi, welcome back to WEGS Garage with the old guy. Remember last week, Captain Morgan with the leaky boat Louie sailing? Well, guess what? This week I'm putting him back to work. We're back on the Triumph. Like I keep telling the boy, there's 2 good days that you own a boat. You guys know the rest of that. And I think there's 2 good days you own a Triumph TR4. The day you buy it and the day you get it finished. Let's see how far we get today.
Alright, so while I was out, Dad took some time out and looked at this top cover and kind of went through all the seals and springs and things in there. So
Things always get you in trouble.
that's right.
Yeah, I took this apart according to the book because back here there's the reverse, the top gears and the lower gear shafts that come through here to the shifting mechanism, and there's O-rings buried behind there. Well, this part is in the environment with the gear case, and with oil splashing around, some of it's inevitably going to work its way back. That's why there's seals back here. So basically took all this apart, put new O-rings in here and put it back together again. Shafts were good, everything else checked out. These adjustments are for your reverse, top gears, and lower gears, how much force it takes on the gear shift lever to change the carriage. And as the book shows, you get this thing back together, put a fish scale back here, and pull on it. And the book, if I remember right, said about 25 to 30 pounds of force is what it should take to disengage and engage these shafts. Well, when I got it back together, it was low. So what you do is you take these screw adjustments, screw them in until you finally get the right tension on it. And I ended up with about 28 pounds of force to engage and disengage these. The same is also true with the reverse gear. The other thing that was a bit of a change is there's an anti-rattle thing on the gear shift knob. And I know you can't see it now, but where the gear shift comes down, there's a little nub buried back in here, a spring and a ball. And that's what slides back and forth in the neutral position on this carriage. And one thing I noticed is that the new spring from Moss Motors was about 2 windings longer than the old one. So the spring goes inside of that pin, the ball goes on top, and then you slip it down in here. And there is now no slop with the gear shift lever onto this. I think they actually call it an anti-rattle spring and ball or something like that. And ours did do that, but it's a lot more solid now. And I have read where that's a common problem, that if you're driving this thing and the gear shift knob rattles, makes all kinds of noise, unfortunately that's what you need to go after. But that's it. I think with new seals and these tensioned correctly, I think we're in good shape.
Okay, so we don't have the top cover back on yet. Well, I think we're going to just leave it off when we put it in the car. It gives you a little extra room to work, and you can still get it on. It's not really a problem. We do need to get this clutch shaft and fork and throwout bearing back in the front here, so that'll be first, and then we'll start putting it in the car.
clutch arm is through.
Okay. That felt good. It has a little bit of play, so you might have to go up slightly. Oh, that was
There it
good.
is.
We got it.
No, take it together yet.
Well, it's very close.
Okay, well, that pin has to go through that hole. Got it. It's in.
Yeah.
Oh, supporter, I'm coming out.
All right. All right. So here's where we're at. That sucked. You got to get everything lined up perfect. It's heavy. It's hard to move. But you got to get the splines lined up and get your input shaft put into the pilot bearing. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we got it pushed all the way up. The two flanges are touching the little pins that are on the engine housing are in the holes on the transmission. So this thing is ready to get bolted back to the engine block and get the rear support in, get our drive shaft put back on. And yeah, so this was the hard part. It sucked, but now we're closer than ever. So we're kind of running out of time for today, but everything's done except for we just got to get the top cover on. So obviously got that fresh gasket on there, and it's all gooped up with Permatex Aviation. So that should slip right in place, and we should be good to go. It might have been just a little too ambitious today on thinking I could get done and get this thing back on the road. But we did get everything back in the car here. Transmission's back in, shifter linkage on top, clutch slaves hooked up and working. Everything is ready to go. We're gonna watch it for the next week, make sure we don't have any more leaks or issues like that. And then we'll take it off the jack stands next week, get that overdrive wired up, and hopefully get this car back on the road. So stick around, come back next week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Later.